All right. What's good, everybody? Welcome back to another episode of Classic Conversations. Now, today I got my homeboy, my dog, my brother from another mother, one of the funniest people that I know, and soon the world is gonna know his name because he's gonna take the world by storm with his comedy. Please welcome Mr. Mike Favor. What's going on, Mike? How are you today, man?
That's a hell of an introduction, man. How are you?
Yeah, good man. Good. So let's just jump right into this, man.
Mhm.
Like the pandemic has been real tough on all of us. So, like, how you been dealing with this pandemic?
Oh, I'm cool now, man. Like the first few months, like last year, it was tough because like everything shut down. So I stayed in the house for about 5 months and didn't really do anything. Didn't have any shows to do or anything like that. So it was a little depressing. But now, I just take it as everything is as normal as it's gonna get at this point. You know.
Yeah, man. So let's go back. Before we go dive into like what you're doing now with your comedy. Like what inspired you to kind of pursue comedy?
I was always like a funny kid, but I didn't think I never looked at comedy as like something that I could actually do as a career. You know what I mean? Like
Right.
I was in like theater in high school, and I rapped and all kinds of stuff. So I always had like an imagination and was a creative person. So like probably like around 2013, 14, that was the first time the idea of doing comedy entered my mind, but I didn't really actually go after it until 2019.
Okay. So you do a lot of shows in and around New York. I've seen your sets at the Broadway Comedy Club and various other like clubs around here. What's do you ever get nervous before you do a show or
Yeah, hell yeah, man. They say when you're not nervous, then you ain't doing it good enough.
right, yeah, most
So
definitely.
I'm always nervous like right before I go up. I used to be nervous like days before shows at times, but now like I work a lot. I'm a little more consistent with my work rate now, you know, at this point. So it's everything kind of just blends in together at this point. But right before, I still get nervous.
Oh man, yeah. So let's talk about tell me what your like writing process is like. Like how do you know what you're gonna say or how do you deal with that?
Man, to be honest, like in my phone, I got over 100 and maybe like 30 jokes, like 135 jokes.
Right.
And overall, like since I started comedy, I've written probably close to 300. But it's like very little of that gets you. You know, it's
Now,
like
yeah, man. I'm
something
sorry. Yeah.
something will pop in my head, and I'll watch something on TV, or I remember something from when I was a kid, or something could happen like yesterday. And I'll be like, oh man, that gotta go. Like that has to go in the book. You know what I mean? Like I gotta write about that.
So you saying that half of the like a lot of the material that you write down doesn't get used. Now, why is that? Because you feel that it might be too offensive or what?
Nah, like sometimes it just I might write it and then I'll be like, man, that shit ain't funny. Or sometimes it sounds crazy, but like you put jokes on like reserve. It's like I don't think I could use this joke right now, but maybe a couple
Ah,
from that.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, okay, I
You
got
know
it.
what I mean? Like
I feel you.
I do like a lot of like current event stuff and stuff that's going on in the moment. So something that might have been funny, like December, like say right now, right? If I did a joke about like the Capitol, rushing the Capitol, that was cool in like February, but in September, it's like you still talking about because the news cycle of the world is so fast now that 3 or 4 months after something happens, nobody cares about what you're talking about.
I
You know
feel
what I mean? And a lot of my comedy is current event based, and sometimes I just write stuff in this trash, and I'm just like, yeah, that's not gonna make it.
all right.
But oh my fault. Go ahead.
So you okay, have you ever written a joke where after you said it, you're like, damn, maybe I shouldn't have said that?
Yeah. I got a few jokes where, like, I wrote it, and then I was like, yeah, that's never gonna go nowhere. Like, I can't use that anywhere because it's like you got to think about a lot of comedians. They think about ourselves and just what we like, but I try to cater to like, all right, I got an audience, and I want you at the end of the day, I want people to laugh at what I'm saying. You know what I mean? Like I'm not one of these comedians that's just like I don't give a fuck if the audience laughs or not. You know what I mean? Like I want people to laugh at what I'm saying. So sometimes you could delve into something like as far as like your life goes or something that's currently happening, and it could be too dark of a joke to me. And I'll be like, man, there's no way I'm gonna do this in front of a crowd. You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, most definitely, most definitely. So I seen something where you had talked about you made a white person uncomfortable at one of your shows. Talk a little bit about that.
Oh, I had a show. I had a show one time that two white people walked out of the show because the producer of the show had told me that when I say the N word, I make white audience members uncomfortable, right? So I took that information, and 2 days later, two, 2 days later, I used it for a joke. So like the joke basically went like I said, the guy who's the producer of the show, I said, he told me you guys get uncomfortable. I say the N-word, right? And then I like paused for a second, and then I said, I don't know what to tell you, my niggas, but like you're gonna have to like work it out. So, you then I asked the guy in the audience, I was like, let me ask you a question. If I said if he was a white guy, I said, if I said to you, you were a cool nigga, would you think I meant you're a cool person or you're a cool black guy? And he said, a cool person. I said, exactly. Nigga is a noun. And then so as I'm saying this joke, I see two white people get up and just walk out.
Yo, that's crazy, man. And man, I don't mean to
But
put.
it was,
Yeah, that's crazy. That's real crazy. Nah, but like, yo, how like my thing is,
but man,
go ahead, man. Sorry.
nah, I'm saying my thing when I was like brand new, I was the type of comic that was like I didn't care what the audience think. I like pissing people off. You know what I mean? But now I'm not gonna lie, like I've toned it down a little. It's still my comedy's still wild because I'm pretty sure like you've seen
Oh
like
yeah, most def, man.
more recent videos. So I figured out a way to say what I want to say without making everybody feel like, oh my god, I can't believe you said this.
Yeah, no, but I feel you. You gotta kind of understand what like a lot of people ain't like us, man. Cause like I'm not one of those sensitive dudes. Like I don't get offended by much, man, if at
Yeah,
all. So that's just me.
yeah, but I know I have a way of putting things that can make people feel like uneasy. Like I got this joke that I do now Well, I asked the crowd, I go, how do you think Black people felt when the civil rights movement was over and they realized that white water tastes the same as the nigger water they have been drinking like all those years. And like people, it's one of those jokes where it's like you don't want to laugh at it, but it's like too good of a joke
Yeah,
not to laugh.
exactly. Most definitely, man. Um, so nah, like how all right, like who are your influences in comedy? Like what comedians do you look up to the most when you decided to pursue comedy?
Well, when I was younger, like Martin Lawrence, before I even started comedy, Martin Lawrence was like my favorite comedian because he had the show and he was just when I was a kid he was killing it. You know what I mean?
Yeah, most definitely, most definitely.
So you go with whoever is the hot guy at the moment, and he was funny as hell when I was growing up. Not to say he's not funny now, but I'm saying like as far as like my first comedic influence, definitely Martin Lawrence. And then as I dived more into comedy, Richard Pryor, um, Patrice O'Neill.
Oh yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, yeah, man. Funny dude. Rest in peace, man.
yeah, Patrice O'Neill is probably my favorite comedian of all time. I think Richard Pryor is the greatest, but Patrice O'Neill is definitely my favorite comedian of all time.
Okay, cool, cool, cool. So like when you not doing comedy and you not entertaining the world, what's a day off like for you?
I sleep like that. That's because comedy, it's a late night. It's a comedy goes anywhere from 6 o'clock to 1 in the morning. You could be doing shows. You know what I mean? So my day doesn't start like a regular 9 to 5. My day starts at like 6, 7 o'clock at night, and you might get out of the club at like 10, 11.
Damn,
Because
dog.
you got to do the club thing, then you got to hang out and you chill with your other comedians and things like that. So whenever I'm not doing shows, I try to sleep or work on material. But just watch. I watched a lot of news. I watch a lot of news. I watch a lot of things where I can get ideas for jokes from, and it
Mhm.
can be like little stories that people wouldn't even think of. Cause I try to present. I mean, you watch that. I try to present, ideas that people wouldn't necessarily consider when I tell my jokes. You know what I mean? Like I said, like with the water thing, like who would think of, how Black people felt once they drank white water? Like you know what I mean? Like
Yeah, no,
so.
most definitely, most definitely.
So I just try to think of as many things as possible that I could put together in my mind. You
Okay,
know,
cool, most definitely, man. So like pre-show, do you have any like rituals or certain things you do before a show that help you get in the zone?
I try to make sure I put together the best set possible. Like however much time I got for that night, I try to put together the best jokes I think would go for that time. And that's pretty much it. And just try to relax,
Yeah,
because I drive myself crazy trying to think of the crowd. Because you don't ever really know what a crowd's gonna like and what they're not gonna like. It's all comedy is a crapshoot, man. Like you fucking throw the jokes out there. Sometimes they work. Like
sometimes it hits, sometimes it misses.
I've
I
had
got you.
jokes. Yeah, like I've had jokes that didn't work on a Tuesday and then turn back around on a Wednesday and it be the best joke of the night.
Yeah, man. Just gotta know the crowd, man. So if you could give younger Mike a piece of advice, what would it be?
Focus, focus on your goals, man. Don't get caught up in bullshit that doesn't matter. Like focus on. I would have focused more on school. I probably would have started to do comedy a lot earlier. But I think a lot of times when I was younger, I just didn't I just didn't believe in myself, you know.
Right.
So
Um. Yeah. No, go ahead, man. Sorry.
as I get older, you know, I now know, like, man, you got a talent, something special, you know.
You most
So
definitely.
I believe in myself a lot more. I definitely tell myself to believe in myself a lot more.
You most definitely do. So if you were to give somebody advice that wanted to try to get into the comedy game, like what advice would you give them?
Just be ready to work. Like people, you know, I think a lot of people think comedy is like this easy thing because you always hear people say like, "Oh man, I wish I could just jump on stage and do that," and they think it's just like, "Oh, a crowd thing where you're gonna be nervous of the crowd." A lot goes into the art of comedy, you know, like writing the jokes, finding the angle where the joke is funny. Because anybody could get up on stage and say anything. It don't necessarily mean it's gonna be funny. You gotta find what makes the joke funny. You know what I mean? Like, because a lot of times in comedy, we talk about things that aren't funny necessarily. You
Right,
know, so it's the magic in it is making things funny that shouldn't be funny. You know,
I
so
got
I would tell everybody, man, just be ready to work, be ready to get disappointed a lot.
you. Hmm.
You know, like don't just think you're gonna come in and you're gonna be like Chris Rock or Kevin Hart right away.
Right.
You know, be ready to understand like you're gonna fail a lot before you get to where you want to go. And it all depends on your definition of like what you think is failure. Because I've had auditions for clubs that I didn't get the spots. You know, I had shows be canceled. I had things that I was supposed to do not happen. So it's like you just gotta don't take everything personally. Understand that at the end of the day, even though you're telling jokes and you're having fun, comedy is a business like everything else.
Okay. Yeah, most definitely. That is some great advice. Um, and okay, so last question before we wrap up, like
Mm-hmm.
anything that you want to promote, like anything you got coming up, any appearances that you want everybody to know about.
I'll be at Broadway Comedy Club September 24th. I'll be at Brooklyn Satellite in Brooklyn, obviously. September 25th. September 29th, I'll be back at Broadway Comedy Club for an audition show. So, you know, if anybody would like to check those out, man, just let me know or let Isaiah know.
Yeah, man.
Get some tickets.
I'll put a link in the description of his YouTube channel so you can check out his stuff. Uh check out his stuff, and it's gonna be he's gonna take over the world with his comedy, man. I've known this dude for as long as I can remember, and he's one funny ass dude, and
Right, since we were little kids, man.
the world is gonna know,
Yeah,
man.
man.
So yeah, man, this has been an episode of Classic Conversation. Uh, thanks for doing this, man. Greatly
No
appreciate it.
problem, man. Anytime you need me on, man, just let me
I
know.
got you. I got you. We gonna do something together. I got you, man. All right,
All
bro.
right.
Take it easy, man.
All right, you too, bro.
Yep.